The Allegheny Journal knows the character we're about to speak to pretty well because we've seen him over the course of the last 12 years as a supervisor for Allegheny County. He's James Griffith, who represents the Covington District. Welcome, Mr. Griffith.
Good morning, Jerry. Thank you for having me.
Actually, welcome, Griff. That's what we meant to say. Well, thanks very much for joining us. You know, the election's on November 4th. You're not opposed. But, you know, even so, the people of the region, even though they hear from you on a monthly basis on public comments, it's nice of you to agree to share some more specific views. And, you know, one of them is, do you believe that there is a most pressing issue before the Board of Supervisors right now?
We have
are there many?
There's several.
Help us out.
Okay. We have the Wells Fargo building having to build out for the court system because the courthouse is not big enough. And it was the cheapest way for us to go, and it was attached to the property, and it gives us more parking. That's one. Remodeling and redoing the DSS building, which is the old hospital, is number two. Infrastructure is all across the Commonwealth. Every 100-year-old infrastructure is failing, and finding the money to do that's an issue. Economic development, workforce, and training is an issue, but we've got a pretty good handle on it. We're working with the college, with the workforce, tied with the pad site, tied with housing and the housing summit, and we've had real good results from the summit and getting housing and affordable housing, workforce housing, and we've was in a lengthy meeting before I came on with the EDC and Virginia Economic Development Partnership. So there's movement going on the pad site and in a direction that's positive. Columbia Gas is actually, we're in negotiation with them again. And it's more favorable now because of the pad site being there. They see that we're serious, so it's more attractive, and so they recalibrating, and that may be something that if something comes in and needs it, we'll have it. Hopefully, we hope to have those meetings coming on in the next couple of weeks.
You know, Griff, I can't remember the number of years ago it was, but we had a conversation at the base of the hill where the pad site is now. I have to admit, I put the video camera on you, and you pointed up at this mass of rough terrain and trees and vines and stuff like this, and you said, Jerry, this has tremendous economic development potential. And I didn't doubt you. I just thought, man, this is a long shot. So 10 or $11 million later, you know, it's one thing to get Covington to join you, which in itself was historic. Then the county agreed to put in a couple $1 million, but even more consequential was getting the state to put up more than $3 million. So you were present at the creation. Here's this big, beautiful pad site up there. How realistic, now that the state's invested in this so heavily, isn't it realistic? I mean, when people out in Allegheny County say, oh, they see all that pushed ground and it's nice right now, but, you know, they don't see an actual customer there. How realistic is it that there will be a customer or several customers for the pad ready site?
By having the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, a third partner, it's going to happen.
Right. I mean, so Columbia Gas was one of the inputs. This is the first I've heard of this. The site is ideal in almost every respect, but it doesn't have that one bit of infrastructure, a big gas line. Is that conceivable?
We'll know when we sit down with the folks in Ohio the next couple of weeks. We're not talking to the same people that we talked to before because of the pad site and because of the Virginia Economic Development Partnership. So they're the driving force now. We're not driving the cart. They are.
How important was Delegate Austin, Terry Austin, who in the Virginia House of Delegates? What role did he play? Was it significant in getting the pad site going?
Yes, it was very significant. Terry had we had received 1.2 million, and right before December, 1st of December, some money had come free in the Economic Development Partnership and increased the amount from 1.2 to 3.7.
Wow.
And that extra money was what got us over the hurdle that we needed.
So it wasn't that long ago the supervisors decided to buy the Wells Fargo building in downtown Covington. Can you give us a quick overview? So will that allow expansion of the jail, or for the Commonwealth Attorney and the judge? Exactly what's going to go in that building?
What's going to give the Commonwealth Attorney, and it's going to give the judge places for the witnesses to be private and have more room. It's going to give better parking for the jurors on late cases at late night, lidded and being secured. There's potentials for the sheriff having some offices in there and others. Right now, phase one is going to be demoing the inside, and it start in the next few weeks. So and the judge has been patient with Allegheny County because this is something he's asked for ever since I've been on the board.
Well, you never know. I mean, that does seem like, I remember a judge in Rockbridge County told Rockbridge County, look, we got to have a new courthouse, and boom, in the next couple of years that happened. So, all right. So, I mean, if you take action on the Rosedale building, you're not going to have any snakes in the basement. I mean, this is historic.
Yeah, it's been, it's been kicked down the road, and we couldn't kick it down the road anymore. It had to be fixed, and so it's and we got a new administrator, and that's a big help. So we're looking very positive. And if we can get the workforce and workforce is tied with economic development, and housing's tied to economic development, and they're all controlled by the state, and we can only do so we just got them as a partner.
So why are you positive about housing supply? I mean, is there something on the horizon that we're not aware of? Maybe more apartment complexes, or maybe some kind of housing development that's really not been announced. I mean, if you have customers at the pad site, maybe you can have an initial workforce that's already here, but it's very possible that you're going to need additional housing, right?
You will need additional housing. We don't want to bring in an industry with a couple of hundred jobs, or 300 or more, and not have the housing. We want them to stay here. We want to grow the small business world, and you got to have another anchor company here to grow the small business world, to make it sustainable. We just don't want to have ribbon cuttings and, closings the same year. We want them to be there for the next 50 years. We want them to make a living there.
Is it inconceivable, this Google development? in and around Daleville might also cause a little demand for housing? I mean, it's not that far.
It very well could. It's and that's, we're looking at that. We've got consultants, and that's some of the meeting this morning was doing brownfield studies on certain properties to making sure they're developable. And so it's a lot of movement. Getting back to your question about developers, we don't have anything that we can announce, but we do have conversation going strong from the housing summit.
Well, that's good. It seemed to be well organized, and it's just so timely that it seems there's so many aspects to economic development, housing, infrastructure, capital. It's just
And
workforce, right? Well, you're unopposed in November, but still, a fair question may be, all right, you're involved in it, but why should people reelect you one more time? I think they're going to, but why should they?
Well, I'm 100% dedicated to the Highlands. 100%. And we have to think about, the reason I do it, Jerry, is because of the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. If they want to stay here, we as adults have got to figure it out and create jobs for them. And that's what I'm there as a catalyst to try to keep everybody focused.
Well, we've seen that, you recently, I guess we might call the commitment, or at least the focus of the Board of Supervisors. Ken McFadden is like one of the top economic development people across the state. And now he's the Allegheny County Administrator. So many Allegheny County citizens may not be aware of Mr. McFadden's background, but most of us in the press, when we heard that, we said, I don't know if it's a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth or a grand slam in the middle of the game, but that Mr. McFadden coming on with your push as a group at the supervisors seems to underscore your commitment to getting this economic development engine going.
It's we're very fortunate that he accepted our offer, because he is well recognized not only in this state but throughout the Southeast.
Well, before we let you go, part of the effort, part of the structure of the effort was somehow bringing the city of Covington into the fold on this, or at least that's the view of us out here. How important was Covington's addition to the mix, their commitment of a couple $1 million, which heretofore has never happened in Allegheny County? How big of a deal was that?
That's extremely an important deal, and very important. And because county don't make water, we buy water from the city, we buy water from Clifton, and we're all in this thing together. And if none of us can fail, we all have to work together. And so they don't have the room to grow and to have industry like we do. And that way they can share housing, enjoy the people shopping in the businesses there. So it's very important that we have a partnership with all three governing bodies for Counting Iron Gate. We've got to work as one unit to move forward.
Well,
our competition is not within. Our competition is the Shenandoah Valley and the Roanoke Valley.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to share some views with us. Wish you the best of luck on November 4th. And 13 years is a long time to serve on a public body. So I guess that kind of commitment is well known in your district, and we're also aware that you're not just a member of the supervisors. You've been to meetings all across the district and in Richmond to try to make this vision of the supervisors become reality. In fact, I think you guys even agreed to become a member of a second planning district, didn't you? To help get additional grants and become even more, even better known in the region?
Yes, sir, we did. And I serve on the board of directors for the Virginia County Associations, and that's the 9th district, which covers from Rockingham County, which they just made a big announcement yesterday. Merck, $3 billion expansion in pharmaceuticals.
Wow. Yeah.
So having the collaboration across the state, understanding where the money's coming from, how the money flows, Appalachian money, and that's going to be changing their name, but it's going to still be there. And I serve on the Roanoke Regional Commission also as a board member. But somebody has to be present. You have to let them know you're there. And it's a lot of wear and tear on an older man. But if you're not there, they don't know you exist.
Well, thanks again for your service. We look forward to seeing that smiling face around the region once again. And we thought we'd throw a few unusual questions at you because, for example, asking you, well, what in your background do you believe most qualifies you, that kind of thing. You've been present at the creation here, and I think a lot of people know your face. So we certainly have enjoyed hearing some of these views. Maybe people are not that familiar with how, regional cooperation, which it heretofore it's not been something really that's been all that common. Now you guys are at the meetings, you're sitting at the table, and it just seems that you've got a lot of the parts together to make some jobs and investment here happen. Thanks again.
Thank you, Jerry. Have a great day.
See you, sir.